Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is episode 298 of the world famous The University of Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call it online marketing moves, and we're coming to you live today. Today is Sunday, June the 6th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? Ladies and gentlemen, how has your weekend been? Now, yesterday, we missed the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, I will tell you what happened. Now, I told my wife, I said, my wife, she needed to decompress. She needed to get out of the house. It's been a long time, because as you well know, talked about this on the show, we take care of my mother-in-law. So it is hard to get away, a lot of the times. Yesterday we had an opportunity one night to get away, go to a nice little hotel downtown Atlanta, hang out, go out to eat, hang around, go to the pool. It was a nice time. But yesterday I was supposed to wake up about noon, record a show, and then my wife is gonna come home and we was gonna leave. She come rolling in, she waking me up. It was 2:30. She said, "Come on, man, let's go. What are you doing?" I said, "Huh? I thought it was noon." She said, "No, man, and we don't have time to record today." I said, "We don't got time. I got time." She said, "No, I don't have time. Listen." She explained to me that the hotel that we was getting was not cheap, and she said, I want to be there by checkout." I said, "Okay." And this is the times that I wish I would have my old microphone, because I definitely would have recorded right in the hotel. You know what I mean? But when she was asleep, unfortunately, for some reason, I can't find that old microphone I used to have when I used to record on a little $20 microphone when I first started. And for some reason, I misplaced it, and I haven't found it since. But I'm going to find that microphone, or just get another one, so that way, when it comes to me traveling, I can whip it out and still record. So I messed out yesterday, but wife, she needed to get away. It was a nice time too. It was one of those places where they open the doors for you and all that kind of stuff. So it was real nice. I was like, you know. I remember me and my parents when I was a kid. My parents, they would, every now and then, because I grew up in a small town, very small town, and we would go 20 miles up the road. If you wanted to have dinner or you wanted to go to a movie theater, the closest town was like 20 to 25 miles away. So we would drive up there. We would go out to eat. We would go to a movie, and then we would go to a hotel. Me, my brother, my parents, and we would stay at a little motel. You know what I mean? And it was kind of nice, because I remember my parents would buy us. They would buy us Pepsi and soft batch cookies. We would stop at the grocery store, and they're like, "Y'all can get a snack. I'm gonna get you some soft batch cookies and some Pepsi." It was like cool. And me and my brother would try to stay up from 12 to 2, from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. watching the Three Stooges. I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't know if you ever seen an episode of the Three Stooges, but I think me personally, I think the Three Stooges are some of the greatest comedians of all time, because I know it's hokey now if you watch it, like, okay, you know what I mean? Slapping people and all that kind of stuff, but man, it's funny, you know what I mean? And me and my brother, my little cousin, and baby cousin, he used to come spend the weekend with us, and we would try to stay up to watch the Three Stooges. Of course, he was young, he would fall asleep, but me and my brother, we would stay up, and watch. And even to this day, like, I bought the whole Three Stooges DVD set. So, if you ever want to hang out and watch Three Stooges, please be my guest. All right. But anyway, today is Sunday, so we are going to talk about something that's important. And we talked about this before, but listen, along this journey, your journey, your life. We'll call your life your journey. And it's a journey, and it's an adventure. And along the way, we get to points where we don't believe, like you might not have belief, you might fall flat, and then you like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. I don't know if this I can make this work. But you want to have belief, and one one way that can jumpstart your belief is I watched this documentary yesterday or today, one or two about Mike Tyson. And for me, Mike Tyson is one of the more fascinating people, one of the more fascinating athletes I've ever saw. Because of course I was introduced to Mike Tyson when I was a kid, like a little kid. You know what I mean? And we've me and Mike, we've grown we've grown up. You know what I mean? He's grown up in front of the public eye. I've just grown up. You know what I mean? But to see a guy go from Mike Tyson, when I was like 7 and he became like, I think, yeah, heavyweight champion, like 1986, something like that. So I was probably 7 and he became heavyweight champion. This guy was like 22 years old. You know what I mean? He's on top of the world. Mike Tyson could do nothing wrong. Like 1986, 1987, 1988. I remember he beat Michael Spinks in like 90 seconds. And then February 1990, he lost a fight or whatever. But the thing that I saw him talk about today is how when he first met Cus D'Amato, the guy that told him he's going to be world champion. He said Cus told him, hey kid, you're going to be world champion one day. You're going to be the youngest world champion ever. I believe it. And he started crying. And the guy asked him why was he crying, and he said because nobody probably ever believed in Mike Tyson, and so it was affirming for him that somebody believed in him. And the only thing he said he wanted to do was be famous, which I found fascinating. And the guy was like, "Why?" He's like, "I wanted to be famous." He said he saw Muhammad Ali walk into a room and all these people started clapping and cheering for Muhammad Ali, and he said he wanted the same thing. You know what I mean? And so that part of his story was very fascinating. That part that somebody believed in him, and then he didn't believe it in himself, and every time he talks about Cus, he starts crying. You know what I mean? And for some of us, even before we think, can I really do this? Is somebody that believes in you, and that can really jumpstart your situation. That could jumpstart your life. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I met my wife. Not when I met my wife, she used to always tell me, you can do great things," and I'm like, what? And me personally, I was like, I'm driving the truck. I mean, what am I gonna do? Like I just felt like honestly, I felt like I was stuck. Like I felt like this was it. And it kind of made me sad at the time. And I was like, damn, is this gonna be my life? Like I'm stuck driving this truck. I was like, man, this is, and I was kind of bracing myself for like, oh, this is it. And she used to always tell me that. And, you know, fast forward now we're here, and I'm doing this podcast and doing the whole internet thing. And it's those kind of words that can help you out, that can jumpstart you. You know what I mean? Like now, of course, Cus D'Amato told Mike Tyson, "Hey, I believe in you." But Mike Tyson, he put in the work along with Cus's help. Of course, he put in the work, he put in the time, he put in the effort, and he became the youngest world heavyweight champion. And he was awesome. Like he was like Mike Tyson. At one point, there was no boxer like 1986 to 1988. I don't think there was a boxer on the planet 1989 that could touch my man. And then of course, Cus died and all that kind of stuff, and he just sort of went south, and he kind of fell on his face. But he picked it back up and everything. But along the journey, the whole belief system, like sometimes it could take somebody to say, "Hey, you can do it," and they're not really BSing you around. Like when people tell you that stuff, like nobody's gonna sugarcoat it. Like if you told me, "Hey, I'm trying to play the guitar," and I heard you play the guitar and you worked at it every day and you put in the effort, and I would say, I mean, I believe in you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you need a spark. Sometimes you need a jump start, and if somebody tells you they believe in you, then trust me, they really do believe in you. Like I used to not think I was like, she's just saying that because we're dating, you know what I'm saying? But even we had a situation where we split up for a while, and even then she was like, you could still do great things, and she didn't have to say those things. So then I was like, okay, she really believes that I can do great things, and it definitely helped. It definitely helped me out along the way, because with as I told you before, this whole thing, all of this everything we do is a journey. Like this whole thing. I don't care what you want to do. I don't care where you're at in your journey. I don't care. This whole every day is a journey. Every situation is part of the journey. Like good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter if you fall today or if you if you hit a home run today. It's part of the journey. And tomorrow's a new day, a new part of the journey. And it's long and it's tedious, but it's beautiful. And sometimes you will have these situations where you don't believe, but there's somebody in your corner. There's somebody that says, "Hey, man, I believe in you," and that can jumpstart you. And if you need that spark, then and just go back in your life and think about people that have told you, "Hey, man, I believe in you." Like, "Hey, I know you can do it." And give an example of somebody who didn't believe in themselves, but no matter how much people encouraged them, they still didn't do anything about it. I had a friend, my best friend in high school. He was an awesome football player. Like he was, I'm talking about American football now. He was like he was an offensive lineman, and he was all state like 2 years in a row, like first team all state 2 years in a row. He was crushing it. Like he was good. He was strong. He was, and I'm like, now I remember the time he's the freshman. I'm like, big boy, big boy, big boy. We going places. Like, I was like, hey man, we going places. The first year he struggled. Like he wasn't that good. But I told him, I said, hey man, you never played football before. You know what I mean? I'm like, you only gonna get better. I said, you got the tools, man. By the time he was a senior, like he was one of the best. Like I was like, hey, you got it, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we out of here. Like we going places. He was like, yeah, we are going places. And it was always a we thing because it was me and him. Like I'm the one. I told him, I said, you should, because he was like, man, you want me to play football, but I don't know. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, well, at the time, we didn't say bruh then, but I'm like, look, homeboy. I'm like, look, my man, you got the tools, man. I'm like, you can do it. He's like, man, I want to play quarterback. I'm like, big boy, you're not gonna play quarterback. You too big for all that. But I'm like, you can be an offensive lineman. And you're gonna be great at it. Like I believe in him. Coaches believe in him. We all believed in him. But at the end of the day, he didn't believe in himself, and he got a full scholarship, but he never took it, and he never did anything with himself or his life. Which is sad. And I love him to death. I mean, I don't have an association with him anymore because life moves on, and I'm doing my thing. I gotta, I can't, you can't let anybody slow you down. But at the same time, if somebody believes in you that much, like, and it wasn't on no, hey man, when you get to the NFL, blah blah. Nah, nobody. I didn't even care about that, man. I'm like, look, man, I just want us to get up out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted him and I to get out of the little town we grew up in, and I just wanted him and I to, hit the scene together. Hit the highway, just do life together. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, hey man, we can go get married, we can have kids, we can live next door to each other. I say, you'll live next door with your wife and I'll live next door to mine, and kids that'll be best friends. And I'm like, it's all gravy, you know what I mean? And he like, yeah, 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 yeah. But at the end of the day, he didn't have any belief. So, you can jumpstart. Somebody believes in you, that's a jump start. But you can't just rely on that. You can't make that the end all be all. You have to finally believe, you have to, and you will start to believe. It's amazing how this works. And once you start believing, man, things will I'm telling you, this is just not a joke. When you start believing in yourself and you really, and I'm not talking about confidence, because confidence is fleeting. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you get a haircut today, you're like, shit, I know I look good today. You're like, hey. But I'm talking about a strong belief in your soul, in your system. You know what I mean? Like deep down, you know that, hey man, I'm it. I'm it. I'm the guy. I'm the girl. I'm that person. You know what I mean? I can move mountains. I can do things. Once you start believing in that, man, look out. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. You know what I mean? Like when I first started, I'll give you. I told you we had to give you. I give you first world. When I first started this podcast, I was like, oh. at first I was like, I'm god awful, Like the first couple of weeks, I was like, who's gonna listen to this, Now I believe when I step up to the microphone, no matter what the subject is, no matter we're talking strategy, we're talking, the emotional, everything you need to run a business, everything you need to start, to really get this thing going. When I talk about a subject, I believe wholeheartedly that you understand that I'm connecting with the audience. Like I believe in you, you believe in me. Like I know this podcast is good. And it took me a long time to it really took me a long time to actually believe in myself that I can do something else besides, driving the truck. And I'm like, and for a while I was like, what am I gonna do? And I used to go look for these jobs and everything. And I said, you know what, man? A job is not gonna help. Like I had to create something for myself. I had to create this. If I'm going to move, if I'm going to really succeed in life, that I have to create something for myself. And that's what we're doing, And that's a belief system. Like if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to try to create, something for yourself, Like, but you have to believe. It doesn't matter what you do, even if you add a job, and if it's something you've never done before. After a while, you have to start believing that, hey, I am good. Like I'll give you an example. When I first started truck driving, I was I was worse at truck driving than I was podcasting. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. I was sucking bad. Like I was in my mind, I quit every week, and it was just frustrating because I couldn't get it. I couldn't back the truck up to the trailer. If you know any truck drivers, the hardest thing to do is back. I mean, it looks easy, but the hardest thing to do is back the truck into the dock, and that's how you get paid. And I was struggling, and my leg would be shaking after I got done, and it was tough. It was rough, and I knew one day that I was good. I remember I got lost in New York. I was on Flatbush Avenue. I never forget this. I was down on Flatbush Avenue. And I looked down at my hand. And normally before that, my hand would have been shaking. I'd have been, you know, shitting bricks. But I looked down at my hand wasn't shaking, and I was calm. And I said, you know what? I said, man, this is it. I said, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to get to, because I was going to JFK Airport. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get to this airport, and I'm going to be just fine. And I'm going to laugh about this one day. And now I look back on that, and that was like year 5, year 4, something like that. But after that, you couldn't tell me nothing. After that, I don't care where I'm at now. I know I'm good. I know I'm good. My belief system is not even about confidence. It's about belief. You put me behind the wheel, I know I'm gonna get there safe. I'm gonna get the goods there safe. I know everything's gonna be all right, no matter what situation happens. Like I just know that I'm gonna be okay. You know what I mean? And that day was the day that I'm like, boom, believe me. I know I'm good. And you just after a while, you'll get a belief in yourself, and you'll know it doesn't matter what happens. Like I know that I'm good and that I'm gonna be all right. And it might take 100 days for you to start making some money online. It might take you 1,000 days. It don't matter, but you have the belief, and you know that you're gonna make it, and you know you're gonna be all right. And that's the most important thing. It's not about confidence. It's not about your ego. It's not about any of that. It's a feeling in your body that hey man, we're gonna be all right. Like I'm gonna make it. And sometimes it might take somebody to believe in you, or you might already believe in yourself. It doesn't matter. However you get started, just get started. And the belief is not fleeting. The belief is here to stay. Confidence is fleeting. Confidence comes and goes. You know what I mean? Confidence is more about ego. You know, you're looking for people to, pat you on the back. You're looking for people to tell you this is good or this is great. Like when you believe in yourself, you don't need any kind of patting on the back. You don't need any kind of ego stroking, And like I said, sometimes you might have somebody who just believes in you, whether it's a loved one, a significant other, it doesn't matter. You might have somebody that says you can do it. And you just look back on your life and think about who told me that in the past, Like between my wife, my beautiful wife, my mom, and I have an aunt who I love dearly. I love to death. She always told me, my baby can do whatever he want to do. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, you know. And now that I found something that I I believe I'm good at, which is podcasting and the whole nine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, all right, I believe it. I know it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna work. Like, I know this thing is gonna work. And so that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to find your belief system. And I want you to, it's not about confidence, it's not about the ego, it's about you. It's about the person that you are, not your ego, not your, not people patting you on the back. It's a, when you write, when when you do videos, when you do whatever you do, whatever content you produce, believe you me, believe that you are the best, believe that you are doing a service, believe that, hey man, when I do this, people are going to watch it, people are going to like it, and don't even think about the what if, because whenever I do a podcast, doesn't matter, we all know some episodes you like more than you like others. You know what I mean? Like, some of these episodes you're probably like, oh, that was a good episode today. Some episodes you're like, not so much. Okay. But it's okay. It's life. The content is not going to be 1,000% every time, and that's all right. But the most important thing you must do is produce the content, and the most important thing you must do is believe that the content you are producing is the best. All right. You're not always going to knock it out of the park with everybody, but if you believe it, then it's going to be true, and you will see. And the more you believe in yourself, the better off you will be. People can hear people. People hear the belief in your voice. People hear the belief. You know what I mean? People hear the confidence you have in your voice. People believe in people. When people believe in you, then you get more and more listeners. You know what I mean? Just like this, I told you, first month, boom, it was a disaster. If you ever want to go back, and listen to a podcast from the first day, the first week to now, you will hear the difference. You know what I mean? Now I have a lot more belief in this show. You know what I mean? I have a lot of belief in this show, have a lot of belief in the listeners, have a lot of belief that this will grow, and I have a lot of belief that this is the best podcast in the galaxy. You know what I mean? And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Oh yeah, by the way, I was gonna start my sports podcast on Friday, but I ran into a snag. I didn't know that you can only do one podcast per email address on Anchor. So I have to either use another address and start another podcast, or I will have to go to another service and pay for the podcast and you know start doing that. But for now, we'll probably, because I want to get this up and running, so we'll probably just use my regular, like my Yahoo address or something like that. So the Sports Hound podcast will probably be coming either Monday or Tuesday. You know, I was pressed for time Friday, and I was like, I kept trying to push the start a new podcast button, but it wasn't working. I'm like, what in the world's going on? So I had to look it up, do some research, and I'm like, oh my god, and so that's that. But we will be starting that podcast in the next couple of days. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, go out there. I'm telling you, look back on your life, look back, you know, figure out somebody that believed in you, and that because if you don't have any belief, then it's not going to quite work for you, because that's, as I say, confidence comes and goes, you know what I mean? But if you believe, if you have the belief, then it's going to work. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. As always, we will be back tomorrow with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.